Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is Yevamos Daf Chav. We are on Yud Amud Beis, right at the wide lines, 5 lines from the bottom of the Amud. Now, we discussed Rabbi Shimon's Chiddush in Eishes Achiv Shelo Haya Ba'olamo. Reuven passes away without children. Shimon, the surviving brother, is Miyabim Rachel, Reuven's Almana. Then Levi comes into the world. He's born, he joins the family at that point. Says Reb Shimon, look, Levi doesn't have to reckon with the fact that Rachel was formerly married to Reuven, who he never saw, who was Lo Haya Ba'olamo. He can ignore that factor. He treats her as Shimon's wife, in which case when Shimon passes away, Shimon who he saw, who he experienced, when Shimon passes away, he can do Yibum to Rachel. Says the Gemara, Yosef Rav Menashe, Bar Zvid, Rav Menashe, the son of Zvid, was sitting in front of Kamei Rav Huna. V'Yosef Kamar, and he started asking, my time with Rav Shimon, what's the rationale of Rav Shimon? Rav Huna responds, my time with Rav Shimon, what do you mean, why is Rav Shimon allowing it? He himself explained his reason. We had it back on the Brisa. Top of the page. Kada Amar Tama. He explained. Hoil uba umatza beheter. By the time Levi arrived, Rachel was already married to Shimon. He encountered her. He faced her when she was already Shimon's wife. He can ignore her former history. As far as I'm concerned, she's Shimon's wife, and Shimon and me saw each other. We were Ba'olamo. Rachel never presented herself to Levi in a Isser context, meaning by the time Levi arrived, she was no longer Reuven's wife. She doesn't identify with Reuven. She identified with Shimon, who he saw, with whom he interacted. That's a good enough reason. What do you mean, what is Reb Shimon's reason? This is the reason. No. My time at the Rabbanon. Rav Menashe responds, I was questioning the Rabbanon's rationale. The fact is, Reb Shimon's approach seems plausible. Levi met her when she was already Shimon's wife. Why would he have to treat her otherwise? As far as I'm concerned, she's Shimon's wife, with whom I had an interaction. It was Ba'olamo. Why do Rabbanon say that even in this case, Levi cannot be Miyabim Rachel when Shimon dies, because she was once Reuven's wife? Who cares? Discount that factor. Treat her as Shimon's wife and no more. Amakro, it's based on a pasuk. When Shimon does Yibum, he takes her in v'yibma, extra word. Adayin yibumim harishanim aleh. This teaches us that she's still identified as a Yevamos, despite the fact that she's already Nisyabim. She identifies with the cause of her Yibum, with the passing of her former husband. Even post-marriage to Shimon, she's still labeled, she's tagged as Reuven's widow. Levi can't ignore that. Elohad Esnan, what about the following Mishnah, which says, Kansa, when Shimon is Miyabim the Yevama, Harei ki ishta l'chol davar. She is treated like an ordinary wife. Pertaining to what? V'amar b'yeser Chanina. We had this back a couple of days ago. Malamed shemegarsha beget. Going forward, he gets rid of her with a get. There's no chalitza. She's not a Yevama. She's a regular wife. Machzira. If he divorces her, he can remarry her. She's not a sister-in-law with whom you can say, perhaps, look, it's a one-time opportunity, Yibum, and that's it. No. Even after Yibum, you can divorce her, take her back. She's a regular wife. Halsam Nami Lema, there as well, shouldn't we say V'yibma? Even after marriage, she is still identified as a Yevama, Adayin, Yevub, Min Rishonim Aleo. Prior history is still there, she's still Yevama. But to buy Chalitza, he wants to separate, he has to do Chalitza. How can get work? Apparently we're treating her like a regular wife, not a Yevama. And this flies in the face of the drasha we had earlier. She's still Yevama. Here we see she's not. Shani Hasam, well, there. For that we have a pasuk. Kivin shalakha nasis ki'ish l'chol davar. Once he takes her in, she's a regular wife. The halachas of Yibum no longer apply. It's get. Remarriage is fine. She's a regular isha. Well, by us as well. Why don't we have the isha applied to say that once Shimon takes her in, she's his wife. She no longer identifies with Reuven. In which case, Levi, the newcomer, can treat her as Shimon's wife. She's Shimon's wife. What do you mean? We have the other pasuk v'yibma. So basically, in the same pasuk, we have conflicting implications. She's a wife. She loses the Yevamos status. V'yivma, she maintains the Yevamos status. So why do you pick and choose? When it comes to one aspect, we say, well, she's a Yevama. When it comes to the other aspect, well, she's an Isha. Mistabra. It's logical to do it in this way. Shadi Hatera. The Heter. The drash of the Isha, which indicates that she's a regular Isha and treated as such, we apply it a Hetera. In the case of Heter, where we're dealing with a standard, ordinary, run-of-the-mill case of Yibum. Once he takes her in, she's his wife and treats her accordingly. Vishadi Isur, and the other diak of the pasuk, V'yivma, which indicates that she's still holding on to the Yevama status. A Isur, we toss it, we apply it to Isur, meaning when there's some sort of Isur element, there's a problematic factor here. In the case of Ishas Achiv Shelo Yehi Be'elamai. Reuven passed away, Shimon married, and Levi showed up. Despite the fact she's already married to Shimon by the time Levi was born, we say no. She still maintains that Yevama status. Because there's an element of Isser here. So it's mistaber that we take this element of Heter and apply it to standard case of Yibum, and the factor of Isser we apply to this case of Eshes Achiv Shlo Yehi Be'elamai. Asks the Gemara. Okay, I understand Shitas Rabbanan based on a pasuk, and even after Shimon is miyabim, we treat her as a Yevama. In which case Levi has to reckon with the fact that she is a Yevama of Reuven with whom he never had any interaction. And therefore she's us. Further says the Gemara, Reb Shimon, what about Reb Shimon the Amar? Levi can ignore the fact that she was previously Reuven's wife. Why? Because he encountered her beheter. He faced her when she was already Shimon's wife. And she never presented to him be'isr. She never faced him as Reuven's wife. She was already Shimon's. Let's take that svara, says the Gemara, and apply it to all cases. El Miyata, if that's the case. If you follow this logic, what about Achoisa Me'imai? His sister with whom he shares a mother. An Erva. Shana Sa'achav Achiv Mi'aviv. Whom his brother with whom he shares a father married. So his brother with whom he shares a father married his sister with whom he shares a mother. Which is fine, that's legal. And then a new brother arrives. Meaning, Rachel married Reuven. They had no relation. And now Rachel got a new half-brother. A brother with whom she shares a mother. Now this new brother happens to be a half-brother with her husband. And they share a father. Umeis, and then this fellow, Reuven, who married Rachel, passed away without children. And we have the other brother, let's call him Shimon. Shimon shares a father with Reuven and a mother with Rachel. Tisyabim, Rachel should go to Yibum. To Shimon. Why? Hoil uba umatza beheter. The fact is, he found her beheter. By the time he was born, she was already married to his brother Reuven. So perhaps he can ignore the fact that him and her share a mother, which makes them an heir to each other. No, she's my sister-in-law. She's my brother's wife. A Yevama. Let him treat her as a Yevama. In accordance with Reb Shimon's rationale. It all depends on how he met her, how he encountered her. By the time he arrived into the world, she was already married to his brother. Now his brother passes away. She's his brother's wife. He can ignore the fact that she has other connections to him, i.e., they share a mother. What do you mean? Says, how can you compare Isra and Azal? In this case, she's a sister. You can't ignore that. Well, Lachanami in our case as well. Rachel was Reuven's wife. Reuven and Levi never saw each other. Reuven passes away. She marries Shimon, whom he did see. We ignore the fact that she was Reuven's wife. What do you mean? Isra Achiv. What happened to that Isra? She was formerly married to his brother with whom he had no relationship, who he never saw. Well, if you discount that, then in our case as well, discount the fact that she's a sister. What do you mean? How can you compare the two things? There's a big difference. How Yisur Leslie Tebra. Brother and sister never becomes mutter. That's an erva for eternity. So even if she's already married to his brother, and then he arrives into the world, you can't discount the fact that they share a mother. Hay Isura de Isla Hetera, but the concept of a brother-in-law, Eishes Achiv, that's something that has heter, i.e., when a fellow dies without children, his brother marries the Yevamos. So here it's different. Let's see it inside, in Rashi. It's beautiful in Rashi. It's around 10-12 lines from the top. The last Rashi before the Mishnah. It says Rashi, Isra Achoise Leslie Heter. The concept of a sister, that's permanent. Aval Isa Ishes Ach. Brother's wife. Isli Heter. Heter can apply to that when Kishen Leibanim, when he has no children. Hilkach, says Rashi. Kishemes Rishon Leibanim. When Reuven passed away, Paka Isur Legabisheni. The Isur of Ishes Ach expired, was removed relative to Shimon, the Yavam. Vanessa, and he proceeded, he married her. So at this point, we discount the fact that she was once Eshes Reuven. That became mutter to Shimon. And now when Levi shows up and he wants to take over Shimon's wife after Shimon passes away, he's not starting fresh, he's not starting anew. He's simply taking over for Shimon. Whatever Shimon had carries over to Levi. That's Rav Shimon's svara. Levi can ignore the fact that she was formerly Reuben's wife. Who cares? I see her as Shimon's wife, and that's how I treat her, and that's how I approach her. And me and Shimon had interaction. We were by Lamai. So bottom line is, we've explained Shittas Rav Shimon. We've explained Shittas Rabbanon based on a pasuk that even after Shimon marries, there's still somewhat an element of Yibum there, and therefore Levi does have to reckon with the fact that she was once Reuven's wife. Reb Shimon disagrees with the drasha. He has his own way of learning things, and according to him, when Shimon takes over, we don't reckon with the fact that she was once Reuven's wife. And therefore Levi can be Yabim, Eishes Shimon. Continues the Gemara, Klal on Rabbi Yevamos. The following rule was set forth when it comes to Yibum. Not in all cases can we do Yibum or Chalitza. For instance, Kol She'isura Isur Erva, an Isha who is an Erva. Bitay, Bas Bitay, all the Nashim we had in Mishnah number 1 on that base. In those cases, Loi Choyletzes, Loi Mesi Abemes. You don't apply Chalitza or Yibum, that is totally disqualified. But we have some cases where, it's a partial disqualification. You do Chalitza with no Yibum. For instance, Isur Mitzvah Isur Kedusha, as the Mishnah will soon explain. Although in those cases you don't do Yibum, but Choyletzes, Loi Mesi Abemes. Yibum is not allowed, but Chalitza is applied. The Gemara soon will explain what this is. One more thing. Achoisa. Let's say there's an erva falling liyibum. Achoisa shehi yivimta. And you have an erva with a sister who is also falling liyibum. Suppose you have Reuven and Shimon who passed away. Reuven was married to Rachel, who is my erva. Right? I'm Levi. So Reuven's wife Rachel is an erva to me, disqualified from yibum. But Shimon left behind Leah, who is not an erva to me. But the halacha is that I can't do yibum to a sister of my Yevam. We explained this the other day. There's a concept called zika, being bound, being obligated to yibum. makes some sort of connection. Just as one can't marry Achois Ishta, his wife's sister, he cannot proceed and be Miyabim, a sister of his Yevamo, of his Zakukah. So suppose Reuben and Shimon pass away and each one leaves behind a wife, Rachel and Leah. We have two sisters here. I can't be Miyabim Rachel because she's a sister of Leah, my Yevamo. I can't be Miyabim Leah because she's a sister of Rachel, my Yevamo. But in the case where one of them is an erva to me, I don't have to reckon with her. Rachel is an erva to me, so even though Leah is a sister of Rachel's not in the picture. She's out of the equation. So Achaisa, a sister of an erva, Sheyivimta, which happens to be a Yevama as well, Chayletes, when we say Abemes, you do Chalitza no Yibum. So you don't do Yibum for whatever reason, we're going to see later on the Gemara, but you do Chalitza. So typically, if it's a sister of a Yevama, in which case, in a case where both Yevamas are suitable candidates for Yibum, I can't do Yibum or Chalitza to either one. But in the case where one of them is an erva, so we say chayletzes. Sorry, I might have said it wrong. Right. You do either or. So let's just backtrack. Start fresh. We have Reuven and Shimon. Reuven was married to Rachel, Shimon to Leah. Say they were both sisters. So now I'm faced with two Yevamis. Right? Third brother Levi is faced with two Yevamis, but they're both sisters. So each one's problematic because this one is a sister of my Yevam, the other one is a sister of my Yevam. So in that case, we do Chalitza, and we don't do Yibum. This is actually something we discussed in Afitas. Okay, because it's a sister of my Zakukah, but if the sister who's the Yevama is a sister of an Ereva, big difference. So Rachel is my daughter, so she's not a suitable Yevama to me. And Shimon's wife Leah is a sister of Rachel, but it's not a problem because she's not a sister of Yevama. So we say Chayletes Oymes Yabemes. Much better. You do either or, Chalitza or Yibum, because she's a regular Yevama. Okay, let's go back to Isur Mitzvah. What is that? Shniyos Medivrei Seifrim. We have the standard Arayos, and we have the added Shniyos, secondary, so to speak, another generation, which the Gemara of Chafalaf will go through in great detail. Those additional Arayos were Midrabanan, to create a sort of extra barrier behind, around the Arayos. So those extra Arayos are called Isur Mitzvah. Menater, they're not Arayos, and therefore we do Chalitza. If a Yevama should be one of those Shniyos, we do Chalitza without Yibum. What is Isur Kedusha? Isurim which entail a breaching of Kedusha. For instance, Almana, the Kohen Gadol. Right? So we have two brothers, Kehanim. One fellow passed away, leaving behind a widow. His brother is a Kohen Gadol. So he's refrained from prevented from marrying the Yevama, because he's a Kohen Gadol. In this case, it's Isur Kedusha. Don't do Yivam, do Chalitza. Or a Grusha, a divorcee of a Chalutza, an Isha who went through Chalitza. She may not marry even a Kohen Hedit, a regular Kohen. Should a Yevama fault him in this circumstance, a Yevama who's a Grusha or a Chalutza, he's prevented from doing Yivam, rather he proceeds with Chalitza. Mamzeres, an Isha who's a Mamzer, Unasina, she belongs to the Nasinim group. Yisrael, she falls to a Yisrael who may not marry these people, or Bas Yisrael, she's an ordinary Bas Yisrael who's standing in front of L'Nasan L'Mamzer, a Nasan L'Mamzer who would like to do Yibum, but she can't get Yibum from them because the Yisrael may not marry a Nasan L'Mamzer. Whether it's the Ish being the Yisrael or the Isha being the Israelis, either way, there's an Issa Kedusha here preventing this Yibum from taking place. So we suffice with Chalitza. Asks the Gemara, why did the Mishnah begin with the words Klal Amru B'Yevama? Which sounds like we're trying to include things. This is a general formula as follows. Klal Asuyemai, the word Klal, what is it coming to include? What other example of an Isha Erva who can't do Chalitza or Yibum? Something in addition to the Nashim listed in the Adaf base. Oma Rafram Ba'Papala Suyat Soras Islands. You see, when the Mishnah tells us that an Issa Erva doesn't get Chalitza or Yibum, Rashi points out that it's referring to the Tzara of the Erva, and certainly the Erva herself. Right? So if Reuven was married to Rachel and Leah, Rachel happened to be Shimon's daughter, so not only is Rachel going to be exempt from Yibum Chalitza, but Leah as well, because Leah is a Tzara's Erva. She's a companion wife in Reuven's household. She's affected by the Erva. No Chalitza or Yibum to both. And we're going to include even a Tzara's islandess. So let's say Rachel was physically unfit to have children. Like the islandess, like an ayah, like a male, like a ram. So some sort of, she has some sort of physical impairment. She can't have children. Not only is she disqualified from Yibum, but the Tzara as well. Anybody in that same household is off the table when it comes to Yibum. Ukad Rabbi Asi, as we head back on Daf Yud Beis, Rabbi Asi holds that an Isha who's disqualified, who's unable to go through the Yibum process due to the islandess condition, affects herself and the Tzara, and that's what the Mishnah meant to include. Ikad Amri. There's another version of this Gemara. The Mishnah says, Kol shi Surah Isur Erva. Those women cannot have Yibum Chalitza. We make a diuk. Kol shi Surah Isur Erva hu dasir Tzaras. The Isur Tzara only applies when the reason for the Isur is Erva based. A daughter, a sister. Halo Yisura Isur Erva, but if the reason for disqualification is unrelated to Isur Arais, rather to physical impediments, which prevents it from doing Yibum, for practical reasons. So sure, she has no business doing Yibum because she can't perpetuate her deceased husband's family. She can't continue his legacy. So she doesn't go to Yibum, but the Tzara is not affected. Tzara Sala Asira, the other wife, is unaffected. Lamutid Mai, what are we coming to exclude? Meaning, what are we trying to say here? Amara from Lamutid Tzara's islandess, or like Rav Asi, we come to discount Tzara's islandess. She's not going to be affected, and this is not in line with Rav Asi, who said that she is affected. So basically, we have two approaches to the Mishnah. Is the Mishnah trying to include Rav Asi's case or exclude Rav Asi's case? So the sister of the woman mentioned in the Mishnah, who happens to be a Yevamos as well, and is also presenting herself liyibum to this brother, no problem. Chalitza or Yibum is in place. Achoyse, the man, a sister of whom we discussed ordinary rayis. Is there mitzvah? Is there kedusha? What exactly are we referring to here? Ilem the Isser mitzvah. We're speaking where Reuven passed away, leaving behind a gerusha as a potential Yevama to his brother Shimon, to his brother Levi, let's say. And Shimon passed away, leaving behind an ordinary Yevama, no problems with her. A regular Isha as a potential Yevama to Levi. Happens to be Rachel and Leah were sisters. So we say, well, Leah, although she's a sister of Rachel, no problem. Levi can be miyabim Leah. He's not getting involved in a sister of his Zakuka, which would be problematic. No, because in this case, Rachel is not really a legitimate Yevama. Why not? Given the midarais or ramikamei, menat Torah. Rachel is a regular Yevama. I'll just correct myself. We're speaking about Isser Mitzvah, which is a Shniya, right? The Arayis, which are Shniyas from Divrei Seifrim, not Namana. Shniyas from Divrei Seifrim. This type of Erva is not reckoned with Menat Torah. It's a Isser D'Rabbanan. So Rachel, to Levi, doesn't have an Isser Menat Torah. She's a regular Yevama. So technically speaking, Menat Torah, Levi is faced with two Yevamas, who happens to be sisters. Rachel and Leah, two Yevamas. You can't get involved with a sister of your Yevama. Given the Raisa Rami Kamei, since Rachel is also presenting herself to Levi as a Yevama, by going ahead and marrying Rachel, what are you doing? Right? We have Rachel, Eshes Reuven, Leah, Eshes Shimon. Rachel to Levi is a Shniya. So Levi can't marry Rachel. But he could marry Leah, despite the fact that she's a sister of his Yevama. What do you mean? Given Midaraisa Rami Kamei, since Rachel is a suitable Yevama to Leah Minat Torah, So technically he has two sisters falling to him at the same time. How can he interact with Rachel? How can he interact with Leah? When he marries Leah, he's getting involved in the sister of a Yevamos who's committed to him. He treat her like his wife, and one can't marry his wife's sister. Oh, we're speaking about a sister of an erva. So Rachel is Levi's daughter. That totally disqualifies her from Yibum. She's out of the equation. All we have is Leah. So it's one Yevama. That's okay. And therefore, Chalitza or Yibum is in place. Isser mitzvah shniyas. So those arayas that are awesome with the Rabban are called Isser mitzvah. Why? Amai kori le Isser mitzvah. Why mitzvah? Amabai mitzvah l'shmai de b'chacham. It's a mitzvah to listen to the chachamim. We learn from the pasuk. Leisa surah min adavar she'agid lo chayam min asmal. The Torah tells us always listen to the chachamim. That's why we call it a Isser mitzvah. Isser kedusha is almana l'kain gadol, grusha v'chalutza l'kain hedid. V'amai karlu Isser kedusha. Why do we label them as kedusha? The chsiv kedushim yule l'keim in the parsha of the mitzvahs of Kohanim. We have that pasuk kedushim yule l'keim, and therefore we call it Isser kedusha. Ta'anya Rabbi Yehuda Machlef. Rabbi Yehuda had a different version of these name tags. Isser mitzvah is referring to almana l'kain gadol, grusha v'chalutza l'kain hedit. V'amai karle Isser mitzvah. Why these restrictions apply to Kohanim called Isser mitzvah? T'chsiv. Because at the end of Parshas Vayikra, which contains many special mitzvahs pertaining to Kohanim, pasuk says t'chsiv ela mitzvahs. So that's what we refer to the Yisuri Kehuna as Isser mitzvah. What about Isser Kedusha? That's the Rabbanans. Shniyos midivrei seifrim. V'amai kori le'Isser Kedusha. Why do we refer to them as Isser Kedusha? Abaye kol hamakayim divrei chacham nikar kaddish. One who fulfills the rabbinic prohibitions is called a kaddish. Amalei Rava. You mean to say that if you fulfill them, you call the kaddish, and if you ignore them, you're just lacking that element of kedusha? It's pretty benign. We call she'ena makayim divrei chacham kaddishud mikri. If one neglects to fulfill divrei chacham, he's just missing that added bonus of kedusha. That's all. Rasha nami mikri. You don't call him a rasha. Of course, he's a rasha. So why are you saying, well, if you listen to chacham, you call it kaddish, which sounds like otherwise you're just lacking kedusha, no more. Elam Rava says, Rava, I'll tell you the real reason why we call this Isser kedusha. Kaddish atzmacha b'mutalacha. The whole concept of the siyagim, the gzeris, the additional restrictions introduced by the chacham wasn't just to make chas v'shalom, wasn't to make life more difficult for us. It was to present that additional ring of security, so that we don't approach Isuri Deraisa. Kaddish atzmacha, be mekadosh yourself. Be careful, refrain from even things that are mutter to you min haTorah. Rashi says, Kadesh lo yitavelu de'arayis ha'asuris min haTorah. So this pretty much encapsulates the concept behind all the Isuri Derabanan. That's why we call them Isser Kedusha. Almana l'kohen gadol. So one cannot do yibum to an almana if she is presenting herself to a kohen gadol, irrelevant of whether she was actually previously married or only engaged. What's the difference? We'll see. The Mishnah seems to present it as a blanket rule. Irrelevant of whether the almana was widowed from nisuin, she was already married, in which case we have two problematic factors. Number one, she's an almana, which involves a lav. A kohen gadol may not engage with an almana. Number two, she's no longer a besula, which takes away that mitzvah saseh opportunity. A kohen gadol is meant to marry a besula. So there are two problems, one positive, one negative, and therefore yibum is not applied. Here comes a chiddush. Even if she was widowed from engagement, from erison, in which case, although she's an almana, so there's a lav for the kohen gadol to marry her, but she's still a besula. She's not negating the isra aseh. In both cases, it would seem from the Mishnah, yibum is not in place. Why? Let's take it apart. I understand if she's an almana min nesuin, which carries both isurim. Number one, a lav because she's an almana, right? Almana leikach. And number two, she's no longer besula. in which case he's missing out on that opportunity. Misses asay of besula ma'ama v'kachish. So we have both factors, asay v'leis asay. And of course he can't do yibum. Because ve'en asay, because the mitzvah asay of yibum will not push aside everything in its way. Ve'en asay doiche lois asay ve'asay. And asay can override a lois asay, as we explained back in the beginning of the Masechta. Ramban Chumash says, love overrides fear. Avas doiche yira. But here we have an asay that's trying to override lois asay and asay. It doesn't work. Elam and Erison, but if you're simply engaged, now she's an almanah and Erison, lois asay greidu. Sure, there's lois asay to marry an almanah, irrelevant of whether she was engaged or married, but she's still a besula. Yaveh asay, let the asay of yibum come along, v'yidcha lois asay, and push aside the lois asay of almanah. Why can't he do yibum? Amrav Gidla Marav, we're going to have no less than 4 approaches, 4 attempts at answering this kasha. Why can't yibum be done to an almanah? Min ha'irison. Let the essay override the lois asay. Amar v'gidol marav, we learn from a pasuk. It's pasuk based. Amar krav also yivim to hashara. So the Yevamos goes up to the gate, to the city gates where the bezin is sitting, and they do chalitza. This fellow is not interested in being miyabim. But also yivim to hashara. Have an extra word. Shein tam lemi yivim to. Leave out the word yivimtoi. It already says, we know we're speaking about a yivama. Also, yivimtoi hashara. Okay, just left out yivimtoi. Also hashara. Oh, pasuk is telling us something. There's a new category of yivama. A yivama, you see, typically, chalitza is really the flip side of yibum. It's the other side of the coin. You have 2 options: do yibum, do chalitza. You can't have one without the other. It's 2 parts of the same package, so to speak. Here we learn that there's a new type of Yevama. A Yevama who can only have chalitza. There's no need to say the word Yevimtoi. Why mention Yevimtoi? To teach you. We have a different type of a Yevama. She will come up to Bezin for chalitza, not Yibam. Who are we speaking about? Chayav Elavin. An Isha who has a lav attached to her. Almana l'kain gadol, grusha l'kain, all those cases cannot have Yibam, but they can have chalitza. So basically it's a pasuk. Pasuk is really a two-sided pasuk. Number 1, to tell you that we don't follow the typical formula of essay, doiche, lois essay in this case. No yibum is applied. And number 2, here comes a chiddush. Even though no yibum can be applied in this case, chalitza may be applied. That's the answer to your question. But how do you know it's speaking about a chayav elavin? Ve'ema chayav krisis. Maybe it's speaking about an ordinary erva, which involves kares. And in that case, the pasuk is telling you, you need chalitza. Why does the Mishnah say you pater completely from yibum and chalitza? Rashi adds the word nami. Maybe also chayav krisis should get this privilege. No, the pasuk already says, well, if he doesn't want to marry her, he should do chalitza, which indicates that chalitza is only option number 2, when option number 1, i.e. yibum, is present. Apparently, if he wishes to do yibum, he can proceed and do yibum. In that case, we say chalitza second choice. An isha who comes up for yibum can come up from chalitza as well. Chalitza is the flip side of yibum. It's the alternative to yibum. But if you can't have yibum, you can't have chalitza. You can't have one without the other. Well, so back to the question. What about the chayav elavin? How can you have chalitza without yibum? Answer is harabi rachmana yivimta. We have the extra word yivimta. Well, ma rois. What gives you the right to pick and choose? On the one hand, you say yibum chalitza are inseparable. Then you say no. Chalitza without yibum works. Well, mistaber, it's logical that chayav elavin tafsibu kedushin. The pasuk which indicates that you can do chalitza even without a possibility of yibum is referring to chayav elavin, where technically speaking, Kiddushin is something that can take effect there. If one is Makadesh Chayev Elavin, it's valid. It works. And therefore, as Rashi explains, it is sort of a kiyum of the pasuk of Im Le'achab Ishla Kachas Asivimtei. He doesn't want to take her because he could take her technically, although he's not allowed to, but he can push it through if he wants to. So technically, there is a yibum, there is a lakicha, there is a yibum as an option here, and therefore we say chalitza works as well, as opposed to chayev krisis, a real erva loitafsubu kedushin. Kedushin doesn't even work. Even if you try it doesn't work. So lakachas is totally inapplicable there. So once there is no yibum factor at all, there's no yibum option included at all, there's no chalitza either. So basically, according to Rav Gidlam and Rab, we have a pasuk which answers our question. Chayav Elavin can only have chalitza without yibum. Masav Rab, how can you say it's absolute? Brisa says Isser mitzvah, Isser kedusha. In all these cases, ba'aleh oichalatz la. Suppose they did chalitza or yibum, lo niftaru tzaras. Not only is she exempt, but the tzara, the other wife, is exempt as well. That works. Not only chalitza yibum as well. What do you mean? V'isa gadaitach chayav elavin midaraisa la chalitza rami. If you're going to tell me that minat Torah, we have a pasuk to tell us that always chayav elavin minat Torah will only get chalitza la yibum la ramya. They don't even have that yibum option in their repertoire. It's a pasuk. It's not going to work. Torah is telling you it doesn't work. Ki ba'aleh. The Yavam did yibum to this type of isha. Amay nifter tzarasa. Why is the tzara potter? Answers the Gemara. Who moisevla? Rabbi himself, who asked this kasha, who mafarachla answered it. Listad and Ketani. We learned the brisa sort of sideways, meaning the brisa has to be applied this way and that. Meaning, we spoke about ba'aleh oichalatzla. Doesn't apply in all situations. We have to apply it selectively. Ba'aleh, the word ba'aleh, which indicates that yibum works, that's referring to what? Ayisa mitzvah. That's the shniyos. It's only a sidra rabbanon. All agree in that case, but the evet yibum works. But the words chalatzla, which indicates that only chalitza can actually work, is going on Issa Kedusha, the Alman, the Kohen Gadol, which are Torah-based Isurim, where we learn from the pasuk that only chalitza works. So that's the answer to the kasha. In these cases, only chalitza works. Masav Rabba, here comes another kasha from Rabba. Raisa says, Tzur Krushavcha, these fellows who have a physical impediment, they're not allowed to intermarry. I'll marry a Yisraelis. They can't have children, so they're aser. They're chayav elam. Or a sris adam. This is a fellow who went through a procedure, a sterilization procedure, a manual procedure which disallows him to marry a Yisraelis. Okay? So in all these cases, or v'hazakin, an older fellow who can no longer have children. So he's not a chayav elav, and he can marry a Yisraelis. But he isn't the fellow who can necessarily perpetuate the memory of his departed brother. In all these cases, oy cholzin, oy miyabmin. So the way Rashi learns is like this: they can do chalitza, or even if they do yibum, they're not meant to do yibum l'chatchila, but if they do it, they're yaitze, it works. They acquire the yevama. Oh, and the Brisa explains, case that has this pan out. Mesu. Suppose these individuals that we just mentioned passed away. V'lahem achim, v'lahem nashim. And they had brothers, surviving brothers, who are potential fellows that can do yibum. V'lahem nashim, and these individuals that we mentioned, B'tzuadaka, etc., left behind widows. V'amdu achin, and the surviving brothers got up. V'asu mamar b'n'shasen. They did mamar. They did all the things that are associated with the yibum. Mamar, v'nosnu get, or they did even a get, v'chotzu, chalitz, masha asu. In all these cases, what they did takes hold. So let's say they did chalitza is valid. V'im balu kanu, and even if they did a bia, they acquired the Yevamos. Continues the Brisa. Oh, and this is the important part. This pertains to us. Meisu acham. Suppose we had a saris, a psodaka, who had a brother who passed away without children. And these fellows got up and they did mamar, whatever they did. Masha also works. Here comes the punchline. Even if the saris did be, he was miyabim the Yevama. He was kind of the Yevama. It works. So although he's not meant to do so, right? But if he does it, it works. V'asal kaiman. When it comes to the krushavcha, the p'tzuadaka, the sris, we're not allowed to marry an ordinary isha Yisraelis. So although his yibum is act, it works, takes effect, but he can't stay married with her. Mishum shenemar lo yava p'tzuadaka. You're not allowed to marry a Yisraelis. So the mitzvah he was mekayim, and he has to separate right away. End quote. That's the Bryce. Asks the Gemara, now if you're going to tell me, we had a pasuk which taught us that chayav elavim midaraisa lachalitza ramya leyibum leyiramya. In all cases of lav, minad Torah, only chalitza kicks in and not yibum. In balo maikanu, even b'diavad bia wouldn't work. That's a kasha on the Rav Gilam Arav. The Torah tells you that chayav elavim can't have yibum. How can it work even b'diavad? So we discount attempt number 2. Sorry, that was attempt number 1. Based on the pasuk. Here comes attempt number 2. Elam Rava. Let's go back to the kasha. We have Isser, Kedusha we called it, right? We have the Almana, the Kohen Gadol. Why can't you do Yibum? If it's Minhan Suin, she's an Almana, she's also no longer B'sula. I understand Yibum can't address that. But if she's only an Almana and an Erison, she's still a B'sula. So you're going to be Mekayim the Yaseh. Why can't the Yaseh of Yibum override the Lois and say of Almana Leikach? Elam Rava. I'll tell you the teretz like this. Almana and an Erison Nami Yaseh V'Lois Yasehu. Even if an Almana is only Mina Erison, aside from the Lois Yasehu, marrying Almana, you're ignoring an Aseh. The Chsiv Kedoshim Yula Lekayim. Pasuk says they have to maintain, the Kohen has to maintain this Kedusha. That's a Mrs. Aseh. So it's very poshut why Yibum can't be done in this case. A straightforward pshat. Aseh is not Doichei. Eloy is Aseh with an Aseh. So basically, Rabbi is undoing the whole sugya. It's not based on a pasuk. There's no such pasuk telling you that there are cases where you can only do chalitza without Yibum. In fact, we have a brisa which proves otherwise. Even when there's an Isser, if you do Yibum, you're kainei. Rather, the reason why you don't do Yibum lechatchila is because in an almana you have an asay analysis. If that's the case, kol Torah kol nami, everything in the Torah has an asay analysis. Asay v'leis asay hu. The chsiv is kadishtem. It's kadishtem the entire Torah. It is to be kaddish to Hashem. Everything in the Torah involves mitzvah asay kadishtem. And we never find that to be so. We know that essay is the Echeleis Asay. We had the whole sugi about it. We don't say every Leis Asay has an Asay as well. So let's move on to another option. Elam Rav, I'll give you another teretz. Why? Why can't you do Yibum by Almana Minha Erison? To the Rabban. To Gzeira. Almana Minha Erison, Otu Almana Minha Suin, because it might lead to the next situation where she's really an Almana Minha Suin, where there's a Leis Asay and Asay, because she's no longer a B'sula. In that case, you can't do Yibum. We don't want to allow one on account of the other. Okay, that explains the Almana. What about the Mamzeres and the Sina, Meikel Meimar? What's wrong in that case? Why can't you do Yibum on a Chayav Elavin? Asay Deichel Leis Asay. Gzera b'makam mitzvah, Atosh b'makam mitzvah. If you allow it here by Yibum, perhaps he might mistakenly marry a Mamzeres or a Sina out of the Yibum context. In which case there's no heter. Elam mi'ata, if that's the case, you're concerned about one on account of the other. Like this Yavim. One should never be Miyavim. The wife of his brother with whom he shares a father, regular Yevama. You know why? Because it might lead him to do something else. He might marry wife of his brother with whom he shares a mother, which is an erva. So you can never do yibum. Answers the Gemara, no. Yibum b'nachla tal rachmana. We know clearly from the pasuk that the concept of yibum is to take over your brother's inheritance, his family. Maybe everybody understands that the point of yibum is to perpetuate your brother's memory and to continue his household, so to speak, and to continue his nachla. That's telling a brother with whom he shares a father. There's no room for confusion. Another kasha, isha she'en lebanim, like this yabim, a regular yivamo who has no children, shouldn't do yibum. Gzeira m'shem isha she'esh lebanim. Next time he might do yibum to an isha with children. No, bebanim tala rachmana. Maybe everybody knows from the psukim. Yibum is strictly because there's no children. There's no room for mistake. Isha's achav she'ibay lamai, like this yabim. One should not marry isha's achav who he saw. A regular yivama, no. It might lead him to do it even to the wife of his brother, with whom he never shared any life experience. Says the Gemara, no. Once again, it's clear from the psukim and everybody knows. Pasuk says, the whole point of yibum is to continue to pick up where his brother left off. Everybody knows that. They know that it's totally in ba'ilamah. One more kasha. Call nashim lotiz yabemna. Never do yibum to any yivama. Gzeira m'shem islandess. It might just so happen to be that she's an islandess who's not roi for yibum. That's not something common. You don't have to worry about it. Well, if that's the case, mamzeres and asina namel shchicha. The whole concept of mamzeres and asina, that's an uncommon circumstance. You're telling me don't do yibum to mamzeres. Don't say esed dechalesed because you might marry mamzeres next time out of the yibum circumstance. No, that's not a common. How often do we have mamzeres and asina? So this whole pshat is problematic. Here comes last and final pshat. Pshat number 4. We had a kasha. Why can't you do yibum by an almana and an erusin? Why can't the assay of yibum override the lois assay of almana loyikach? Elam arava. You're right. Really, you should be able to be miyabim and almana and erusin. But there's a gzera bia rishona ato bia shnia. The initial bia is mutter. That's an assay, but sticking with her afterwards is a problem. If we allow the first interaction as married, it might lead to further, and therefore we answer it. We don't allow it. Tani nam yachai. In fact, we'll prove this point from Rabbi Bryce. So what we learn in Balu Kanu. This was the perhaps the Bryce that we had before, that the Bechayav Elavin says in Balu Kanu, and it says V'asol Kaima. What does the Bryce mean? In Balu Kanu Birishon, the first interaction as married is mutter. Menat Torah. It's also, but the rice it's mutter, therefore you kind of. But v'asel l'kaimon, you can stay as married, but be a shnia, right? So menat Torah, be a rishon is mutter, esed dechalesase, but be a shnia is also menat Torah, and therefore in the Rabbanan we don't even allow be a rishon because it might lead to be a shnia. Hadam Rava came back and says, no, I'm reverting. V'yitem Ravashi, some say it was Ravashi, came back and says, no, lav milse da amri. This is incorrect. What's he referring to? What he just said, that Menat Torah, Bir Rishon is muta esa doichalesase. That's incorrect. Why? Damar Rish Lakish already tells us Kol makom shata moitze esa v'leisase. Any circumstance that involves a conflict between do and don't do. How do you reconcile that conflict? Well, it depends. Imata yochel l'kaim shneim muta. If you have a way to fulfill both directives, do the essay and the lois essay without conflict, you meant to do that. But if you have no way out, then we say Yave essay, Yitches lois essay. The essay overrides lois essay. And here as well says Rav or Ravashi, Hachanami. You have a conflict between do and don't. Yevamos says marry. Almana says don't marry. Well, there's no justification for the assay overriding. You know why? You have an easy way out. Efshe b'chalitza. The mekayim assay do chalitza, which won't interfere, which won't negate the lois assay. The mekayim assay v'lois assay, in which case you can fulfill both. we became the essay, because instead of Yibum Dil Chalitza, which is a good second option, and you haven't really been even on the Leis Essay of the Almana. So basically, Rava or Rav Ashi are disproving themselves. Based on Rava, on Rish Lakish is teaching us that you have to try to reconcile everything. You can't just take the essay and override the essay. You have an easy way out. Meisvi, on that the Gemara comes back and asks from the Akasha Balu Kanu. Clearly, even the Isalav, Chayav Alavan can have Yibum B'di'evet. Apparently, you do say that the essay is Deicheles essay. Why? So the Gemara actually soon will explain to us, because really, Chalitza is not an easy option. It's not really a proper alternative to Yibum. It's not like one or the other. Yibum is the primary mitzvah. You don't do Yibum, you can do Chalitza. So having Chalitza as an option isn't really an alternative to Yibum. And therefore it justifies. You can take the essay of Yibum and push aside the Leis essay of the Almana. The Balu Kanu. To Yufta, this is a kasha, a refutation on what Rava and Rav Ashi had come back and questioned themselves and challenged themselves. No, you can't override Leis and say, no, it's clear from the Brisa, you can. Because relative to Yibum, Chalitza is non-existent. It's not reckoned with. So you have an ongoing conflict here between the Aseh of Yibum and the Leis Aseh of the Almana, and one overrides the other, and you do the Yibum. In the Torah it works. So why don't you do it in the Mishnah? And do Rabbanon. Because Bia Rishona is justified, but not Bia Shniya. We're afraid that one might lead to the other. Itmar, let's move on. We learned Machlekes in the case of Bias Kohen Gadol Ba'almana. We have a Yevamos who's an Almana. We have a Yavam or Kohen Gadol. So what happens if he actually lives with her? Is Miyabim her? We have Machlekes, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Lezer. Chadam one explains, and he says, Eina Pater Tzarasa. B'chadam Pater Tzarasa. One holds, it doesn't affect the other Isha. Rachel is the Almana, Leah is the regular Isha. If he did Bia to the Almana, it doesn't help the Tzara. The Tzara needs to go through her own procedure. The other Amar says no. He's not meant to be miyabim the Almana, as we just explained. But if he does be on the Almana, the whole household is exempted. Explains the Gemara. Ba'almana menam nesuin. If this Almana was widowed from nesuin, in which case, A, she's an Almana, which carries a lav. B, she's missing the psula status, so which carries an asay. Kol yamal pligi, all agree, loy patra. Yibum to this Isha doesn't do much. De'ein asay, de'echei leis asay v'asay, because the Yibum, which is an asay, can't override leis asay and asay. So in this case, Yibum is worthless. Only Chalitza would work. Ki pligi ba'almana min ha'erisin. The discussion revolves on Almana from Erisin, where you still have the psula status, but you no longer have you have the lav of the Almana. So what happens in that case? Man dama per teres, the shita that says that it works, because the asay of Yibum overrides the lav of the Almana. So although Rabbanon not meant to do that, as we explained earlier, but not Torah it works. Or man dama per teres, shita that says that's worthless. That's because why? Why isn't the asay of Yibum going to override the asay of the lav of the Almana? Because you have the Chalitza alternative. In which case, it doesn't justify overriding the Lois Asay. You have the Chalitza. So Yibum doesn't work. Meisvei. We have a kasha from that same brayso that we had a minute ago, which indicates that even by Chayav Elavan, B'di'evet Yibum works. Tiyufta, that's a kasha, to steer a refutation on this sheet. What do you mean? Leim b'ti'evet nam tiyufta to Rish Lakish? Do you mean to say this is going to do away with Rish Lakish, who gave us this general principle? You don't override, you don't negate unless you have no alternative. In this case, you have an alternative. Do Chalitza. No, there's no connection to this case, says the Gemara. Amalch Rish Lakish will come back and say, this is not a kasha on my shita. Ki amina ana. When I presented my formula, that was only heichad mekayim mitzvah. When you can do a mitzvah regardless. You have an asay on one side of the scale, you You have a leisa on the other side, and both can be fulfilled entirely, properly. Why would you push away one on account of the other? But in this case of a Yevama, you want to do away with Yibum and do Chalitza instead? It's not a fair option. Chalitza b'makam Yibum, lav mitzvahi. When you can do Yibum and you do Chalitza, that's not relative to Yibum, it's worthless. It's on an entirely different scale. So therefore, of course, we allow the mitzvah of Yibum to override the leisa say of Almana. Okay, let's review today's daf. We began with a in-depth discussion of the rationale behind the Shimon the Rabbanon. This new brother shows up when Rachel, Reuven's wife, was already married to his brother Shimon. According to Rabbi Shimon, Levi can go and marry her after Shimon's death because, as far as he's concerned, she was Shimon's wife, not Reuven's. Rabbanon, based on the pasuk, say no. She still retains her Yevamos status even after Shimon takes her on. We had a Mishnah that all arayas are disqualified completely from Yibum or Chalitza, the question regarding Atzaras Erva. We have Issa Mitzvah, Issa Kedusha. According to our Mishnah, Issa Mitzvah is the Shniyas Mitzvah Yisrael and the Rabbanons. Issa Kedusha are the other Lavin. In these cases, we do Chalitza, no Yibum. Why don't we say Essay is Deichel Essay? According to the Maskana, the Gemara, it is going to be Deichel Essay, but Midrabbanon we don't allow it because although Bi Rishon is justified, but not Bi Shniya, one might lead to the next. It's interesting that Tosfos actually says that, according to Maskanas of the Gemara, when we have this pasuk of Yevamte, which tells you that there are some Yevamas that have Chalitza and no Yibum, it's not referring to the Chayav Elavan, because in that case, even Min HaTorah, but the Yibum works. Right? Even Min HaTorah Yibum works, Rabbanan not meant to do it, but HaTorah it works. So what then does the pasuk mean that there's an Isha only has Chalitza? Says Tosfos is going on the Chayvi Asay. Right? An Isha who has an Asay, in which case you can't say Yibum will override an Asay, and Asay is not Doich an Asay. In that case, we need a pasuk to tell you, even though you can't do Yibum, but Chalitza can be done. All the best to you and much, much Hatzlacha.